Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I've been looking forward to doing this video for a little while now. I picked 3 A-Class and 3 S-Class cars that I think are the best to use in open drift. First and foremost, the BMW Z3. A-Class is amazing. There's just no way around that. It has the 2JZ motor in it and absolutely kills it. Starting from the very first, you can see how I kind of drive straight into the beginning of the finish line, so that way I can get all the way to the end of that first turn. I sometimes think that you could probably make this whole track without having to do any monging back and forth, but it's just kind of a risky situation, and sometimes it doesn't pay off. This car is more so a higher geared car, as are most of my tunes. I run this car in 6th gear and 7th gear. This track more so 6th gear just because it's shorter corners. Coming up behind this guy here, smoking me out. So do a little wall tap there. You should be around 370-ish coming out of that section there. If you can, really just try to hold as long as you can on all the corners. That'll give you the best points possible. I did nickname this car Pinocchio. Reason being is anytime you bump the license plate, you can see how it glitches out like that. But it ends up stretching really far past the car, and it's almost comical. So yeah, that's the BMW Z3. On to the next. The Honda Nsx Gt. Now this was an early access car. I think it was the first car you could get by finishing all the Horizon playlist. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Next track is on Cathedral. This is actually my favorite track and probably one of the most difficult in the game. I tend to really just try to keep momentum on this track. That's how I can score so high. A lot of people like to, get up to the corner, slam the brakes. If you can take it a wide angle and really just kind of keep above that 50-mile-an-hour range, you'll be doing the absolute best that you can do on this track. I have pulled more than I did in this video, but not by much. It's definitely a tight track, and it's very technical. So I do a cutback there. I know a lot of people don't need to, but I kind of struggle with it. I can't seem to get it right. And once I get to this point here, and I know I'm on a good lap, I come out of that corner with 270 or so, start getting a little shaky. You really just want to push for as much as you can and as much speed as you can through that tunnel. I know it's hard to keep momentum there. But if you can come up, shift up, and kind of ram it out of this tunnel, if you're at 400 here, you're doing amazing. You really need to. It takes a lot of practice, but the rear engine cars are going to be the best. So that's the NSX. And on to the next. The A-Class Snow Tire Viper. This is probably the best car in A-Class that you can get for rear-wheel drive. This is the Playa Azul, which if you've ever played any online, you know this track comes up every other round. It's kind of annoying actually, but this is probably one of the best cars that I've found to do this track on. The Beamer will work pretty well too. I know you can make that first corner in one shot. I struggle with it though, so I end up losing points from it. I'm just gonna do some cutbacks and see if I can kind of stretch out these points a little bit. If you're at 260 to 280 coming into this checkpoint there, you're in good shape for a really good lap. You can take this whole thing around. This car only has 4 gears. That is kind of the drawback. It is an A-Class, so you can't really do all the upgrades on it, and you actually have to detune it to get it into an A-Class. But it still works exceptionally well. So as long as you don't go on any of the grass, usually you're fine. So like this section here is one of the only spots you can go in the grass and not lose points. But you got to be careful because as soon as you make that cut back on the right there, you will lose points if you go out there. So this is actually a personal best run for me with this car. I usually end up doing a cutback there because I usually can't make it either. I got lucky on this one and pulling out a good lap. I'm still trying to chase that elusive 900 and I just can't seem to get it. It's actually driving me mentally insane. All my all-wheel drive friends are well over 900 and I just cannot do it. It's just one of those tracks that all-wheel drive is king on. Odds are you run into somebody good in all-wheel drive, you're not going to beat them. Number 4, you have the Lamborghini Huracan EVO. This just came out with the car pass. And this is probably my best S-Class car. If I need to... if somebody challenges me to a 1v1 or says, hey, I can beat you, point in case, the guy that's in first place right now, basically, just bragging, calling himself the GOAT, this, that, and the other. I said, okay. I was like, I'll pull out a good car. We'll see how that goes for you. This is definitely the best one I've found. I haven't been able to find any other S-Class that can do what this car can. It's fast. It gets great angle, and it can slide. It's not a very common thing that you find. You want to try to do this track actually as quick as you can and carry every corner that you can. Really try to keep your speed up around this tighter section here. It can be a bit of a challenge to do that. If you take it wider, like I'm going to show you here. I guess I didn't, but if you take it a little bit wider, you can actually keep your speed up more and gain more points. And out of here, you just kind of slam the gas and whip it to the finish line. And that's the Huracan EVO. I definitely recommend that. Going into number 5, you have the Dodge Dart. Great car. I mean, this car has been a staple in Forza drifting since the early motorsport games. It's always just grabbed points very well, and it's a little easier to handle, I'd say, than the BMW. BMW can get a little finicky, twitchy here and there. What's nice about this car is you don't have to work very hard. You can slide it in, keep it in a nice gear. I run this car in 7th the entire time almost. Maybe 6 if I'm in tight corners, if I'm not confident in that 7th gear. But that corner there, I know a lot of people can actually make that corner without doing this weird cutback that I do. I have not had good luck with it in gaining more points. So I just do a cutback. It's a little safer. It's something that you can kind of rely on that is easier instead of trying to do that full carry motion. And a big thing also, and this is just kind of an overall for drifting, is everybody tends to want to get as much angle as possible and push as hard as you can. If you can see, I'm not getting a whole crazy amount of angle. It's more so keeping that speed and momentum. The more sideways you go, the more speed you lose. In all-wheel drive, that's a different story. But if you in rear-wheel drive can just keep that momentum going, come into the corners hot, try to stay in the gas, a good angle that you're going to stay on the track. It's hard to stay above in that little tight section, but you don't need a crazy amount of angle. I'd say, 45 degrees to 50 degrees and above 50 miles an hour. You're going to be pulling really, really good points a lot of the time. On to number 6. We're looking at the RTR Mustang. This car is incredible. I didn't really find this car up until Horizon 5. But I saw some people using it, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. It is a monster. like absolute monster. You know, I end up losing this round, but I end up losing to somebody in the best all-wheel drive car in the game. So, you know, I don't feel bad about that stuff. I drift with a lot of all-wheel drive guys. That's good competition. I'll appreciate that any day. This car is just like, it's like you're floating. I can't even explain it right. You know, it's got all the power you could ever need. And yet it still goes, even though the wheels are spinning at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And this track is a tough one for rear-wheel drive. There's a lot of undulation and a lot of up and down changes. You know, it makes it difficult to, really keep your speed up. You know, like you see I'm at 30 miles an hour there. That's about the best you're going to get sometimes, unless you're in a rear engine car. Like the Huracan EVO probably could do it a little bit better. You want to try and carry every corner. This one especially is a tough one that people don't really know you can do, but if you drag it out into the grass here, you can get that whole corner and you're gaining a lot of points by doing it. So overall, these are the 6 best cars that I could think of. I really do appreciate you guys jumping in and following. I'm going to leave all the share codes in the video. I'll also put them in the description to make it easier for you guys. But you guys have a great day, okay?